We started the virtual vigilance. Page 14. Okay. Mrs. Shishorim. Bir Midas as heroes, or second paragraph. It's interesting. Could you imagine a person, there's a minefield, and a person says, and he runs through the minefield, having no idea where the mine may be, may not be. Could you imagine such a thing? Say, it's reckless insanity, right? What's the likelihood he's making through the field, right? He'll be blown to smithereens. I mean, he's not going to make it. So he said, what is the virtue of zeros? He says it's like a blind man groping in the dark. You go through life. He says it's literally abandoning your neshama for sakonas ivodon, that your soul is going to be going to the oblivion and be destroyed, unless he says you reflect and you're responsible to what to your actions, and you make that evaluation. Is it a correct action or is not? Is it appropriate? Not appropriate. This is surely something that is dictated by common sense. Understand? This concept that before you do anything, you have to evaluate it, you have to reflect it. Is it appropriate? Is it proper? Is it not proper? He says this is surely something that is dictated by common sense. Since a human being has intelligence, is endowed with intelligence, to be able to save himself, to flee from the destruction of his neshama. How is it even possible to consider to turn a blind eye and not save your neshama? It's like the fire is raging, you're able to walk out the door and save your life, or close the fire door and not be affected by the fire. A person leaves it open. And he has the ability to close the door. You say, there's something wrong with the person. How do you not close the fire door? There's no greater lowliness and foolishness than this type of behavior. You're endowed with the ability to understand what's right and what's wrong, and you turn a blind eye on it. It's like you have a child. Parent is reasoning him to act responsibly, not to destroy his life, and the child falls on deaf ears, doesn't want to hear about it. The child has the ability, capacity to listen and follow instruction, doesn't want to listen. So what is the child doing? Hurting himself by not listening. But that's the same thing with the human being. We have the ability to make the evaluation to see what's right and what's wrong and what's detrimental, which puts everything in jeopardy, but yet we choose not to. Everything's the feel. In that article many years ago written that Harvard, that at one time, if you went to Harvard, you had to write, you have to have a certain writing capability. Then afterwards, it's gone to the wayside over there. Why? Because this is already in the 80s, late 70s. Because today everything is the feel, the passion in writing. So the sentence structure, paragraph structure, and all that's secondary. Everything is the feel and the creativity of what you're putting on the paper. Okay. He says a person who doesn't employ his intelligence to make the evaluation, but he turns a blind eye, he says he's less than an animal, which naturally have the ability instinctively to protect themselves. Anything which has even a chance that may harm them or put them into danger, the animal flees. Instinctively it flees. A person who lives his life in this world without reflection, whether it's good or bad, it's like a blind man walking on the bank of a river, the edge of a river. It's more likely he's going to fall in and drown than not fall in. right? Blind man understands he can't see. So how far do you stay away from the edge, right? That even if you should fall, you're not going to fall into the water and drown. Asher sakaroso vadi atsumo, v'roso krov me'atzaloso. The danger is awesome, and the evil is more likely than what? Than being saved. Yes. Right.
Why didn't Hashem endow us with the same instinct as animals? Some of us he did.
Can I ask you a question? What's the value? What's the purpose of an animal? What's the purpose of a human being? What's your value in this world? What does a human being exist? What does an animal exist? Right?
The same reason. Serve Hashem.
Okay. A human being, you're created to make choices. If instinctively you know what's right and what's wrong, the decision process is not based upon what you do. Instinctively, you stay away from what's danger. If you would see a sin as fire, you'd receive no credit for not sinning. But we don't see sin as something which is totally lethal and destructive. It has an attractive side to it, right? So again, you have to employ the power of choice and understanding to make that evaluation and rein in on yourself, to suppress your desire. But if instinctively you know it as the animal knows something will endanger it, well, why do you deserve reward? It's unrelated to your decision process. That's the reason. It's very fundamental. I mean, what you're asking, it's a fundamental question, and the answer is also very fundamental. It's basic. A person who's lacking in vigilance due to his natural blindness, he chooses to turn a blind eye. It's the same thing. Closing one's eyes, not wanting to make a rational, responsible choice, it's one and the same. Once asked the question, it says that after Sinai, the Rambam speaks about this. Well, how do we know Moshe was the prophet of Hashem? And this is the basis for the authenticity of Torah. Because we saw HaKadosh Baruch Hu speak to Moshe in our presence. It's clear he's God's spokesman. And it says, B'cho yamin olam, they will believe in you forever, that your word is the word of God. Explicit, the Torah. So we ask the question, when Korach came to usurp Moshe's authority, what was Moshe claiming? What was Korach claiming? This is not God, this is not divine. Moshe made this up himself. He chose his brother, he chose this. It's nepotism, whatever he said. Even Tzitzis. He came with all kinds of claims against him. He says, well, it's all nonsense. I mean, but it says, B'cho yamin olam. Korach also was at Sinai. He witnessed God speaking to Moshe Rabbeinu openly, face to face. So if God chose these spokesmen, what is even the basis? And a very significant segment of Klal Yisrael was attracted, and they considered Korach's position. How's it possible? B'cho yamin olam. He's speaking about two things. 1 second. Right? You hear the question, Ernie?
No.
Korach contested Moshe's leadership. What was the basis to contest it? He said that he created his own religion. It's not the word of God, it's the word of Moshe. But the Torah says, B'cho yamin olam, that after Sinai, every Jew will believe you forever that you are my spokesman.
So that means 100% of the people 100% of the time?
But if you don't believe in Sinai, it's different. But if you believe in Sinai, or you were at Sinai, they will not question this. They will believe in you forever that you are my spokesman. And your word is synonymous with my word.
Mm-hmm.
Because I spoke to you openly, go tell them such, and so whatever may be. He says two things. Either person naturally doesn't see, or he says, it's ivoron haritzoni. You choose not to see. There's an expression, people cut off their noses to spite their face. They understand the consequences, but because emotionally they're so whatever is conflicted, or they feel so upset and angry, it's irrelevant. That was Korach. Korach, because he was haughty and he felt he deserved it, as much as it made sense or it didn't make sense, he's not going to let it go. And he's willing to take down, destroy Klal Yisrael for his own glory. And you find people like that. B'chol yamin l'olam. That's if you're rational. All the facts on the table, you address the facts objectively, without a question. Moshe is God's spokesman. The word of Moshe is the word of God. But if you want to somehow allow yourself to get complicated, then, and that's what Korach did. He wasn't willing to deal with the facts. He was dealing with his gut. His gut was, I was put out. I was chosen to be third class, and I'm first class. To be continued.
Say his ego had something to do with it?
Definitely.
So if a person's ego is out of control, they could very easily be disillusioned.
More than disillusioned.
That's why a person should